YouTube, what's up? It's Sans. Got the third installment of the hardcore tips and tricks or hardcore guide, and this is going to be the final video that I do for this. There will probably be a couple of like incremental updates to it, so that if I come across or if I have any additional information to share, of course I will pass that along. So. Rockin' Scar this round, Core Suppressor, got the Quick Draw handle, and then Ghost, Cold-Blooded, Dead Silence, and I have been using Hardline, which isn't a perk that I really used in any of the other Call of Duties, but now that I've been playing with it, it's one of those perks that makes it really difficult to kind of get rid of it and stop playing with it. So I guess a little caveat about this vid. It starts off a little bit slow, so be patient with it and kind of just let it develop. But I think that one of the biggest learning tools that you can really garner is really just watching other people play and what they're doing and how you can adjust your gameplay to get better results. So in any case, let's kind of delve into this a little bit. So in the previous couple of videos, there was a couple of points that I really focused on, and I'd like to touch on those real quick, just as a refresher, or else if you remember them, it's just to emphasize how important they actually are. So the first one, of course, is going to be sound. So right there when I climbed up, I mean, obviously I saw the trace around from the guy, but I did hear him shooting. So sound is one of those things where you can use it to like that guy. He was shooting at me from behind, and I was able to turn on him. But you're going to be able to hear where rounds are impacting, so if they're hitting the ground next to you or a crate next to you or something like that. If you hear footsteps, you're going to be able to hear that. If someone bumps against a van, you're going to be able to hear that. So using sound is going to be, is really, it's not even an, people would say, oh, it's a great equalizer. It's not really an equalizer at all. I mean, you you have a severe advantage if you're really paying attention to sound over other people. The other part of that is also reloading. So if you recall from the previous videos, I was saying that once I kill somebody in hardcore, I don't instantly reload. Now I cannot stress that part enough. Make sure that you're trying to get, even with the Scar, which has kind of a smaller magazine, it has what, like 25 rounds I think. You still should be able to get 3 rounds or 3 kills minimum out of each magazine, for the most part. So make sure that you're paying attention to that, and you're conscious of your reload times. So then perks real quick. I'm always rocking Ghost, always rocking Cold-Blooded, and always rocking Dead Silence. Now, of course, you guys can throw on some additional perks and see if something works out better for you. It's all going to be about the combination and what helps you play better. But something like toughness, really isn't going to add any value to that. Toughness makes you flinch less, but in all reality, it doesn't really serve a purpose too much in hardcore, because if 1 or 2 rounds impact on you, you're gonna die. So also wanted to touch on some of the different game modes, and obviously in hardcore, just like core, when you're playing a certain game mode, your gameplay is going to change. Okay. So how I play, kill confirmed or search and destroy is completely different than how I play, team deathmatch. And for a while there, they even had hardcore free for all, which was awesome, and I'm kind of sad that they got rid of it. That was a lot of fun. So you want to play each game mode differently. The thing that I want to point out about search and destroy is that search and destroy is so hard, on hardcore. It's absolutely ridiculous. But one of the biggest pieces that you can take away from playing search and destroy is that those guys that play search tend to have the maps figured out extremely quickly. So they're able to really piece things together, to find new hiding spots, or to find like little kind of glitches or head glitches or whatever it may be. So that's one reason why I really recommend playing search and destroy, even if it's just regular search and destroy, is that you will learn the maps so quickly. You're going to learn all of the great hiding spots and everything else. So definitely I recommend playing search and destroy. Kill confirm. The reason why I like it so much is that if you're able to pull it together, you can really get a lot of the higher score streaks, just because you're getting 150 points per kill. So that's one of the really nice things about it. And then Team Deathmatch, I'm not a huge Team Deathmatch fan, although, you know, that is the classic game mode that that originated, you know, really with what, as Doom and Wolfenstein and then, you know, Half-Life. So so Team Deathmatch obviously not going anywhere, and I do play it from time to time, although, you know, it's definitely a little bit different. Now, weapons. SMGs, you can definitely run on any map in hardcore, and the reason for that is just that you really only need a couple of rounds to impact on somebody in order to get the kill. So my favorite type of weapon are the SMGs, and for me it's more of a mobility thing because I'm able to run more quickly. I can run farther. You know, there's all these different things. So for me, that's kind of the big reason why I prefer SMGs. Now, one thing to note is that as of the patch in January, things really kind of changed, and they ended up nerfing some of the weapons a little bit, so some of the SMGs aren't quite as powerful as they once were, and some of the assault rifles now are more powerful than they were. So they really tried to kind of balance things out a little bit, so, you know, just so you have that in the back of your mind. Now, assault rifles are definitely a lot of fun to play with. I recently just started playing with them more, so they are obviously for those distance kills just amazing. If you're in close with somebody, I recommend hip firing with them instead, and that's something actually I should say with SMGs. The nice thing about the SMGs is that you can hip fire like it's nobody's business. All right, so go ahead and hip fire as much as you want. Assault rifles, don't recommend hip firing unless you are, you know, up close and personal. And with the assault rifles, I do personally prefer the quick draw handle, so that you can just, you know, bring up the rifle up to your eye a little bit more quickly. Now, with the sniper rifle, any kill that you get in hardcore is going to be one shot, one kill. So that's kind of good if you're working on some of the challenges. It should make things a little bit easier for you. And then the riot shield, same thing. It's a little bit harder, but then again, you only have to hit somebody once in order to get the kill. So one caution that I do have, though, is if you're camping. So if you're going to camp inside of a building, my suggestion is kill somebody from one side of the building and then move across the other side of the room. The weird thing about hardcore is that even though it doesn't necessarily show the kill cam, you're going to see this here in a second, sometimes the way that your body falls, it's going to show where you were. So, you know, I get shot from a sniper from behind in that truck that I just passed, and the kill cam, you know, flips back over, and then I'm able to see him, so you can see right there. So that's one of those weird things about if you camp in hardcore. Even though there's not a kill cam, sometimes the way that your body falls gives away your position, so you can be a little bit cautious about that. So now another piece of advice is just remember that even when you're playing regular, you know, core gameplay, that penetration in this game is insane. So you can pretty much shoot through almost anything, and remember that. So if you see someone, go ahead and try to wallbang them, you know what I mean? If they're hiding behind something, go ahead and shoot. Even if you don't see them, sometimes I just spray walls, where I think that people tend to camp in corners and try and get kills like that. So don't be afraid to do that. Of course, running Full Metal Jacket will help with that, but you can do it pretty well in hardcore just by, you know, aiming through, you know, down your sights and then hitting through a wall instead. Now, one other piece about this is stacking your score streaks. Now, of course, your score streaks roll over and everything else, so, you know, my stealth chopper obviously was helping me get a whole bunch of other kills, and then I was able to stay alive after I got my dogs, and then my dogs started killing people, and then I ended up getting, you know, another stealth chopper. So remember that your score streaks stack and they feed each other, so that's another kind of chunk of this. And finally, you know, the big thing is really just to have fun. You know, when you get too serious playing, I've discovered that I play like shit, so have fun while you're playing. And I'm going to leave you with a little quote. You know, in the military we say, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So, you know, reflect on that and take away from that what you really can. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this series, and stay tuned for additional updates. Obviously going to be providing you guys with a ton of other tips and tricks. So I hope you enjoyed the little series here, and stay tuned for what I have coming up next. Thanks for watching.